Rev it up and welcome to Cars Yeah, show number 1332.
Don't worry about failures. Worry about the chances you'll miss if you don't even try.
This is Cars Yeah, where you'll enjoy interviews with inspiring automotive enthusiasts. Mark Green is here to provide you with a fuel injection of automotive inspiration. So get in, sit down, buckle up, and get ready for a wild ride here on Cars Yeah.
Hello, automotive enthusiasts. I'm revved up and so excited to introduce today's very special guest. Calling in from Tacoma, Washington, Kristen Wells, who I call Krissy because she's my good friend over at the LeMay Museum. Krissy, are you buckled up and ready for a fun ride?
I am ready.
All right. Kristen Wells is the Membership and Development Manager, better known as the Fun in Fundraising at LeMay, America's Car Museum in Tacoma, Washington. Kristen oversees membership, member events, driving tours, and development planning for this great museum. In September, Kristen will be celebrating her 5th year at LeMay, America's Car Museum, and plans to continue sharing ACM's mission, preserving the past, celebrating the present, and driving the future. Kristen has discovered that her true calling, her passion, is her love for people and cars. She grew up out on the racetrack, racing go-karts, and has a love for wake surfing in her spare time. And I'll have to say that Krissy's one of my favorite people over there at the museum, along with everyone else, because they're going to hear this and they're going to be mad at me. But her smile is really contagious. I love being around her, love enjoying her passion for cars. So I think you listeners are going to have a lot of fun today with this show. So Krissy, I've told our listeners just a little bit about you. Would you take a moment to share a little more about your career and a very obvious passion for driving in automobiles?
Absolutely, Mark. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, I grew up in a family-owned business. In fact, 3 generations. My grandfather started the company in 1951. The name of the company is Blair and Son Floor Company. It's still around. And while working for the family business, my mom and I opened an outdoor wedding venue. That venue was their backyard. And we did that for about 5 years. And it was in 2007 when the economy hit a low and I was ready to find my passion. I took a couple bumpy jobs and then found a position at LeMay, America's Car Museum, and I went for it. I've moved several positions to get where I am today, and I absolutely love what I do. Absolutely love it.
It's obvious to me. For sure, because every time I see you over there at the museum, you got a huge smile on your face. You're always happy. And I'll tell our listeners, last weekend I was at the Exotics at Redmond Town Center, and Krissy pulled up in a pretty much brand new Porsche 911. I'm like, whoa, girl, that's cool. One of their folks there at the museum has loaned her the car. You know, you'll find Krissy driving new cars, old cars, cool cars from the museum, going on tours. And of course, she and her good friend Ashley, who's been a guest on the show here. They're like, I won't say Thelma and Louise because that ended really poorly, but they just have so much fun together out there cruising around in cool cars. So we're going to have a lot of fun today. Absolutely. Well, as we continue on your journey, Krissy, I always like to start by asking my guests for a success quote or a mantra. This saying is something that's instrumental in forming your life and your success. It's a really nice way to get the inspirational tires turning here on Cars Yeah, so take the wheel.
This one is always something I think about, but don't worry about failures. Worry about the chances you'll miss if you don't even try.
You know, I love this, and it is so true. My listeners know that, and they've heard this before. My dad taught me when I was a little kid, and I was afraid I wanted to go surfing, and I wanted to learn how to surf, and I was kind of afraid of going out in the ocean and doing this. And he said, you know what? Your fear is just false evidence assumed real. Acronym FEAR. How have you incorporated this concept, your mantra, into your life that's created success for you?
Gosh, I mean, I think about it daily because there's something I'm wanting to try or do new. And, you know, I like to, when I set up our team meetings, I say, let's talk about the what ifs. What ifs, you know, money aside, everything else aside. What if we could do this? It's just something that works for me. And most of the time, if I can put my worries aside and my worries about feeling aside, good things come from it.
Yeah. You know, doubts kill so many dreams that people have. And I love this whole attitude. And I've talked to a lot of people that share this concept in life and who've been successful like you. And, you just have to try to find a way to push that aside. What's a technique that you use to push any kind of fear or doubt that you have about something aside? Is there one thing you can share with a listener who might have to deal with this that could help them, a little tool, a little trick?
Yes. Stick to the positive thoughts. Don't weigh yourself down on the negatives. I try to pick 2 to 3 positive thoughts that, are really powerful and stick with it.
Yeah, absolutely. What if? I like those words. What
if?
Yeah, that's great. Perfect. Well, will you share a story that instigated your personal passion for cars? Is there a pivotal moment in your life when you knew that you were indeed going to be a car gal?
Yes, indeed. I knew I was a car girl when I was about 5 years old. I have a very strong memory of riding in my dad's 1948 Chevrolet Fleetline while he was drag racing down Woodland Avenue in Puyallup, Washington.
Uh-oh, bad guy.
That guy, yeah.
Don't do that today, kids.
He still has that car.
Does he? Good for him.
And, hearing the motor rev and watching him shift gears, it was a powerful moment, to say the least.
Yeah.
This has enhanced my life in that now I get the opportunity to share my love of the automobile with others. And I know he's proud of the work I do, because of how he shared it with me.
Well, I was teasing about being a bad guy, of course, but it was a different time back then, different day, things were different. And I always kind of use that caveat. If you want to drive fast, there's plenty of opportunities on tracks. There's plenty of drag nights you can go to and have some fun and be around a lot of cool people without risking yourself or anybody else. But I love that. He kind of injected that motor oil into your vein that day. So.
Definitely. And I think he would probably still do it to this day. So.
Well, we won't go there, but we'll definitely move forward here. And I want to talk about a big challenge or a big failure you faced. You alluded to one with the wedding program and the business you had with your mom, and then that horrible time in the economy, 07, 08, 09, that affected so many people that have been on this show, but so many people found ways to turn that into a positive. So walk us through a negative time. Tell us about that experience, but more importantly, what did you learn from it, and how did that experience help you gain more momentum in your career, in your business, in your life as you move forward?
Sure. Well, currently, Mark, I believe that I'm a part of a generational shift that's happening at the Car Museum, and I'm proud to take the wheel of change here. This is a current challenge, and we're not done, but I believe we won't grow if things are easy, right? We only grow if we face the challenge. So I am, spearheading those changes and bringing up the what ifs and hope to make an impact.
How do you define generational challenge?
I think that a lot of us can speak to this with the automotive community, whether it's, here in Tacoma, Seattle, Redmond. I'm 40 years old. And later in my conversation, you'll figure out my age later, but so that's okay. But so for being 40, we're right at that prime time of, our generation is into different cars versus someone that is in their 60s or 70s or older. And so that to me is the generational shift. And we see that up at Exotics at RTC. We see that at car shows here at the LeMay America's Car Museum. All over, we start to see that shift. And I love all makes and models. I'm open to all makes and models, but I'm truly dedicated to my generation and what we all love. And that will inspire us to take things, even further with the museum and who's involved and how we're making an impact.
Exactly.
It's really important to me.
Yeah, I can tell in your voice and your passion. Well, you're a youngster the way I'm looking at things, because I'm about 21 years your senior. So when I was just getting out of college, you were being born. Boy, does that make me feel old today. But let me ask you this, because you talk about your generation. Now, being 40, would that make you a Gen X, a Gen Y? You're not a millennial.
Not a millennial, but I believe it is Gen X.
Gen X, yeah. Okay, so you kind of fell in behind us baby boomers a little bit. What are the cars that you're seeing Gen X, Gen Ys being more fond of that's causing a bit of a shift from us old folks?
Sure. Well, you'll hear me talk a little later about Radwood coming to the museum, but definitely the 80s and 90s cars are something that we're all into and proud to, bring to life and share with other people.
Yeah. Have you seen a trend with, say, a baby boomer generation of not accepting those cars, or do you find that they are accepting those? Because I know for me, my rule is if it rolls on rubber, I love it.
Sure.
And there's something to share about that. But I know, having been and being a part of a lot of car clubs, sometimes the older folks tend to resist change quite a bit, and it gets a little frustrating for a lot of people. I've seen it happen with clubs up here I've been a part of, and even when some comments people say. So what's a way that you've found that's helping that shift click in gear a little better, to use a good automotive pun here?
I had this saved for later, but it's not always about the cars. It's about the people, right?
Yeah.
And so, but it is the cars that, brought us together, and it's just fun, and so I'm thankful and happy to say that I haven't truly met someone that has given me negative output on that direction. The tours that Ashley and I have done together and recently went on a tour and visited, 3 different collections that showcased exactly that. And every single person on that tour, and all makes and models were included, absolutely enjoyed it and loved every minute. And at the end, it was just all about the people.
Yeah. Oh, I'm happy you said that. And we'll touch on that in a second. I want to remind our listeners, the Ashley that we both talked about here is Ashley Shoemaker. She's with Hagerty. I've had a lot of people from Hagerty Collect Your Car Insurance on the show. Ashley, I should say, lives up here in the Northwest where Krissy and I live. So we're all good buddies and we run into each other at events. But I love the posts you guys do on your social media when you two are in a car, because there's just, the grins can't get any bigger. So I love what you two ladies are doing, getting out there and enjoying it. I know Ashley and her husband just acquired from her father a T-Bird that she talked about when I interviewed her. She was my show number 1001, actually. And I'm so happy to see her. And she rides around with her car, with her dog in that car with the top down.
Yes.
It's just so cool. So, yeah, I love it. Well, that's a great topic. And you're right. It is about the people. It's always about the people. Let's have a little bit of fun and talk about your first really special vehicle, that first car that had great meaning for you.
Sure. Well, I think for so many people, their first car is their special car, but I don't think you really want to hear about my 91 Ford Escort.
Hey, well, it was cool to you, so that's okay. But yeah, maybe there was something else that was a little more special for you.
Yeah. And so to be honest, I have not yet purchased my first special car.
Oh, okay.
But if you were to change the question and ask me, what is your really special car you would like to have? I would say my mom's 1964 Riviera. I don't have a memory in it just yet, as it was just restored right before her passing this last December. So I look forward to the moment I get to honor her and experience what that feels like.
Yeah, no doubt. And again, my condolences for losing your mom.
Thank you.
Way too soon, obviously. Just heartbreaking for that. I know, because I've lost my father, and it's just it's a really difficult time. But I love the fact that you've turned this into a passion for a car that has some meaning for you and your memory of your mom, that 64 Riviera. I have no doubt that you're going to be cruising around in one of those someday.
It will be soon.
Yeah, very soon. I love it. Very, very cool. Well, I guess my next question really doesn't matter then. That is of seller's remorse, a car that you let go because you really haven't had one to let go that meant that much, or maybe there was. Maybe there was.
I did.
You did?
I do have an answer to that.
All right.
When I was 19, I purchased my first brand new car. The 91 Escort was a car that my dad and grandfather picked up for me at an auction. So my first brand new car was a 1997 Ford Mustang GT.
Oh, girl, you go. Come on. That's cool.
I loved that car.
Yeah.
That car is the car I taught myself how to drive a manual transmission because I had to. It had leather interior, dual exhaust. I mean, you name it. It had all the bells and whistles. And I was only 19.
I know, man. That's a really cool car to have at the age of 19.
Yes. I had it for a couple years and I sold it and I purchased. Are you ready for this?
I don't know. Am I?
Here's the buyer's remorse.
Okay.
A PT Cruiser.
Oh, okay.
So I went from one spectrum to another, though I was very happy with the gas mileage coming from a V8 motor to a 4-cylinder, 6-cylinder, whatever it was.
Yeah.
So you already have a visual, so I'm not going to say anymore.
Yeah, no disrespect for those PT Crew lovers, but yeah, I always thought that was a little bit of an odd duck, that car. It was like trying to be old and it was new, and it's like, I guess you could say it's kind of cool in some ways, but jumping from a Mustang, I don't know.
I can say I did lower it and I had some nice rims on it and a stereo system. It was a thing. It was a thing.
A thing. Gave it a shot. They've been there, done that. Moving on. Well, let's talk about what has you excited and fired up right now at LeMay America's Car Museum. For those listeners, LeMay America's Car Museum, I've been involved with that museum since before it was built. I met Harold LeMay when I moved here 25 years ago to the Pacific Northwest. I had dinner at his house with he and Nancy, got to see his collection before it was created, I was there when they dug the first shovel of dirt to build that museum, was involved in many, many ways, and I still am. In fact, the day we're recording this is a few days away from the celebration of the end of the Great Race, which is going to end at the museum, and I'm going to be there as the MC to welcome those drivers in and talk to people. We're going to be at a car show. It'll be fun, and Krissy's seen my face there at the museum many times, but I want you to share with our listeners what makes the museum so great and what has you excited about it today and tomorrow.
The museum is so great. And you touched on the Great Race. Something that a lot of our listeners may not know is that I'll be singing the national anthem for the opening ceremony of the Great Race. Yes.
I didn't know you were a singer. I'm looking forward to that. Very cool. I'm going to have to live stream that on Facebook. Yeah. Just don't ask me to sing with you. You don't want that.
Okay. Right after the Great Race, as we roll into July, we have a lot of exciting things coming. We're currently working with some new partners that will encourage driving attendance and attract an entirely different audience that LeMay America's Car Museum has never had. And we'll be working on, I'll just say it, when the podcast goes live, LeMay America's Car Museum will have gone rad. We'll be going rad on July 8th.
Rad, R-A-D.
Rad, yes.
Okay, here we go.
Rad,
all right.
Yes.
I thought you were going to fill the museum with red cars or something like that.
No. I'm co-curating a pop-up exhibit with our collections curator, Renee Kristen, who you know very well.
Been a guest here on Cars, yeah?
Yes. And Radwood Pacific Northwest is coming to the museum on July 20th. They've never been to the Pacific Northwest, so we're very excited to have them at the museum. And the exhibit that Renee and I will put together will be located in the lobby, and it will help promote the event as well as build excitement for Radwood and our upcoming Cars and Cigars Miami Nights event, August 2nd. I'm excited about the Radwood event, and a portion of the proceeds will go back to the museum, which is really great.
Absolutely. I would encourage listeners, I'll put links to the museum's website. Check it out. If you're in the Pacific Northwest at any time, make sure you make a trip down to Tacoma or up from Portland or wherever you might be coming from to visit this museum, because it really is spectacular. And the volume of cars is absolutely exciting. And you can do events there too. The school that our kids went to school with when they were little, Harbor Montessori, we had an auction there recently. I got to be the MC of that auction, and they used the museum as a venue. And I tell you, all the people there said this was the coolest place to have a fundraiser ever, because when they weren't eating dinner, they could walk around and look at the cool cars. So lots of cool things, that happen there at the museum. How fun.
And I'm also working on a very special project that has never taken place in an automotive museum in the U.S.
Oh,
and
what's that?
For the first time at the museum, we will be hosting an RWB Porsche build live on August 11th and 12th.
No way. Cool.
Yes. It will be in the middle of Showcase Gallery. It's going to be a very unique experience. And most importantly, a way for us to show that we're more than just a museum, we are a destination. And I'm excited. The ticket sales should launch very soon. In fact, they should be launched by the time listeners get to hear this podcast.
Absolutely. I'll make sure that I promote that for you guys also on my social media so people know about it. Because being a Porsche guy, I love everything Porsche. So I think that's pretty darn cool. How fun. Well, again, I'll put a link to LeMay America's Car Museum on Krissy's show notes page. Just go to carsyeah.com, type in Kristen or Krissy, and you'll find her page right up there. All right, Krissy, up next is the last lap. Before we put the pedal to the metal, let's say thank you to today's Cars Yeah sponsors. Do you know the best way to protect your vehicle, both the exterior and the interior, is with a car cover? I've been using Covercraft car covers since 1975. That's right, 1975. It's a fast, easy, and inexpensive way to keep your vehicle looking new. Covercraft has been manufacturing premium quality exterior and interior covers for over 50 years with a stellar reputation for durability and design. They're the world's largest manufacturer of custom patterned vehicle covers that are crafted to fit over 80,000 patterns and growing. They are the only cover I'll put on my vehicles. You can choose from a wide variety of fabrics, styles, colors, and more. From full cover designs for factory to custom-made vehicles, plus convertible top covers, trucks, truck cab coolers, motorcycles, scooters, ATVs, trailers, campers, personal watercraft, and a wide variety of custom features. Covercraft is the right choice. Learn more today at covercraft.com and tell them Mark sent you. That's covercraft.com. Are you looking for a way to get your products or services into the ears of thousands of automotive enthusiasts around the globe? I can help. This is Mark Green here at Cars Yeah, and I'd be honored to be an influencer and ambassador for your brand in a unique and personal way. 5 days a week, thousands of subscribers and listeners enjoy the Cars Yeah podcast and website. Contact me today and I'll show you how at mark@carsyeah.com or connect with me through the Cars Yeah website at carsyeah.com. Hey, Mark Green here from Cars Yeah. Did you know you can now see me on the Cars Yeah TV show? It's a weekly visit to some of my past Cars Yeah podcast guests, and I take you along for the ride. You go behind the garage door and into their lives, their businesses, and you get to see what makes them successful. With tens of millions of viewers, Cars Yeah TV is making its mark. Cars Yeah TV is available on MAV TV and Lucas Oil Racing TV. You'll find MAV TV on Direct TV, Fubo TV, Fios by Verizon, or you can stream it through Lucas Oil Racing Television online. And they said I only had a face for podcasting. All right, Krissy, we are back, and I'm going to put you on the analyst couch here and ask you a very introspective question. If you woke up tomorrow and you were a car parked in the museum or your garage or out in the parking lot, what kind of car would Krissy be and why?
I love this question. I would be a 1970 Volkswagen bus.
Oh, interesting. Why a bus?
You know, I can't be the only one that smiles when you see one, right?
Right, yeah.
So I would want to make people smile. I mean, you and I both know it's not because of the speed, but...
No, they're a little slow, but they get there in style.
Every time I see one, it just makes me smile. So
yeah. Well, you know, I was shooting about 3-4 weeks ago an episode of my Cars Yeah TV show at the Peterson Museum, and we were down in the vault. The folks that were walking me around there were showing me some of the cars, and they had some movie cars down there. And you'll love this. They have the yellow bus from Little Miss Sunshine. That movie, yeah. And I said to Michael, I said, "Does the door fall off?" He goes, "No, we fixed that." But yeah, buses are they evoke a smile. I know you and I again were just at Exotics at Redmond Town Center, German Car Day, and there were two really beautiful buses at that show that were just spectacular.
Yes. Yeah, they have names, too. I know exactly who you're talking about.
The buses have names?
Yeah. Stella.
What are they?
Stella and Alice.
Really? I didn't know that. Wow. Very cool. No, now I know. I took some pictures of those buses. Now I can go back on my social media feeds and name them. I like it. Very cool.
There you go.
VW bus. That fits you really well, Krissy. I love that with that permanent smile that you have on your face. Well, we are entering the last lap, and I'm going to fire off a series of questions and ask you to give our listeners some very quick blips of that bus throttle because we know you kind of have to do that to get up the hill in a bus.
Yes.
What's the best automotive advice you've ever received?
Well, learn how to drive a manual transmission.
Absolutely.
And I did. And
did.
I share it with, the younger generation and even other moms I know. And I always tell them, what if you need to get away from someone coming after you or just to get away in a car and the only car in sight's a manual?
Yeah.
And
well, they're good. They're good anti-theft devices because a lot of people don't know how to drive them. So
Right.
Yeah. You know what I did too with my kids? They both learned how to drive on a manual car. They had some fun because it was in my 72 911S Porsche. So, and I did that for a selfish reason. I said, that's why you can always tell your friends in the future, that's the car I learned to drive on. But I insisted both of them have a first car that's a manual, because I figured that a manual car demands attention on how you drive it, which would dissuade them a bit from being preoccupied with those phones or drinks or radios or friends or whatever might be in the car. So, yeah, I think that was a good thing to do. And to this day, they both say, I don't have any friends that know how to drive a manual car. I'm the only one. So,
right.
Very cool. How about a personal habit that you believe has contributed to your success over the years?
I do what I say I'm going to do.
Nice. I love it. How about a resource? There are wonderful resources for us automotive enthusiasts. Is there one that you like?
Oh, there's so many. Well, you may know the guys with the 3-pedal posse. And, Dan and Nick with Rain City Supercars are great resources. All of the volunteers up at Exotics at Redmond Town Center are so knowledgeable. And of course, one of my favorite car gals in the industry, Ashley Shoemaker with Haggerty.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you named some great folks there. I've had the folks from 3-Pedal Posse as guests on the show. Same with Nick and his cohorts there from Rain City Supercars, and I was a guest on their podcast. Exotics at Redmond Town Center. Way back, I had the 3 founders of that event on the show. And of course, Ashley's been a guest here as well, along with a lot of people from Haggerty Collector Car Insurance. So, yeah, great group of people there. They're all wonderful people to be around as well. So if I could arrange for you to sit down and have a drink or a meal with anyone in the automotive industry, living or deceased, who would it be?
Well, I chose someone that's actually not in the automotive industry. And that would be Patsy Cline.
Interesting. Why Patsy?
I'll tell you why. Her career almost came to an end after a car accident when she was around 30 years old. And she was able to recover and still on crutches and appeared on the Grand Ole Opera stage to perform her biggest hit, the song Crazy. And that song for me, hits my heart because it's one of the first songs I learned how to sing with my aunt.
Nice.
And I can actually sing all of her songs. So that she would be one that I would love to sit down and have a drink with.
Yeah, no doubt. That would be very cool. Very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how about a book? Is there a book you've read that you think our listeners would enjoy reading?
Yes. It is called Girls Stop Apologizing by Rachel Hollis. And basically, it's a shame-free plan for embracing and achieving your goals. And I'm still reading it, but I absolutely love it.
Awesome. Great book. I don't think that book's been recommended here, so I'm always happy to get a new book recommendation here on Cars Yeah. I'll remind our listeners you can find all these resources Krissy has shared with us on her Cars Yeah show notes page. Just go to carsyeah.com, type in Krissy Wells, and that page will pop up. All right, Krissy, we may have already answered this question, but I'll ask it again anyway, or I'll ask it for the first time with you. It can be a bit of a doozy. Today, I'm going to buy you any cool collector car on the planet, but here are the rules. You can't sell it to buy a bunch of other toys with. You have to drive it. No garage queens, and it's the only collector car that you can have. So what's it going to be?
Yes. Mark, would you please buy me a 1969 Camaro?
Oh, we switched to a Camaro. Oh,
yes.
You threw me a curveball there, Krissy. I was all ready to type Riviera. Oh my gosh, a 69 yes. Camaro. Well, as we speak here, I'm seeing on social feeds that Chevrolet has decided to stop making Camaros. We'll see if that's really true or not, but kind of a shame because they've been around forever. 69 Camaro. Well, now that's a specific year, and I'll tell you a little story, Krissy. I took my driver's test when I was 16 in a 1974 Camaro, brand new car that my neighbor loaned me. He was a general manager at City Chevrolet in Mission Bay, California, and he said, Mark, I'll loan you this car to take your driver's test, and if you pass, you can keep it for a week, drive it to school, and have some fun. Maybe he was thinking I could buy a brand new car at the time, but I certainly couldn't. But I went to that driver's test. The driver guy sat in the car next to me, looked at me, and said, "Hey, kid, is this your car?" And I said, "No, sir," but I told him the story, and he looked at me, and I'll never forget. He said, "Well, you better not mess this up." Talk about adding pressure to a kid who's got a car I'd never driven before and take my driver's test. But I will say I did pass that test, and I got to play with that car. So what is it about the 69 Camaro that you love so much?
The museum owns one, and it's Hugger Orange. And actually, it's away in Detroit right now, but the times that I've got to drive it have been really special. And I just feel like that's a car that, can easily be shared with others. It has a strong, stance, and the engine is music to your ears, and it's just cool. Yeah, just like you, Krissy. Well, I think that's a great choice. I could see you driving one of those cars for sure. I have a feeling that kind of car will be in your garage one day too, along with that Riviera. So, very, very cool. And I love that color too. As you know, I have an orange car, an older Porsche, so I love orange, but Hugger Orange, that's a brilliant color. So very nice indeed. Well, Krissy, you've taken me on a great ride today. I knew this would be fun. I've really enjoyed talking with you. I want to thank you for sharing your journey with the Cars Yeah listeners. Could you offer us a parting piece of wisdom or guidance before you drive off into the sunset in that 69 Camaro in Hugger Orange? Yes, Mark. I think, let's just all remember it's not always about the cars. It's about the people.
Absolutely. That's a lesson I've learned over and over in my experiences with car events. You go to these events and you end up talking to so many cool people, and that's what makes the day. The cars are just kind of the catalyst that bring us all together. What's the best way for our listeners to learn more about LeMay American Car Museum?
You can visit americascarmuseum.org and, see our upcoming events on there. I also have a personal Instagram page that I use for America's Car Museum, and that is Kristen Wells _LeMay ACM. And we've got LinkedIn, and there's probably many other social
no doubt.
things that we have that I don't use. But for me, Facebook, Instagram, and our website.
Absolutely. I'll make sure I put links to those on Krissy's show notes page. Again, if you're going to be in the Pacific Northwest, or make a special trip to come up here to go to the LeMay Museum, because it's a really, really cool, spectacular place. I'm very proud to be involved with the events that they have there and have friends there. Go back and look through my show notes page. You'll find many people I've interviewed, including David Madera, Renee Christ, and Mark, I believe, is another one there. So go check it. And Scott, right?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Didn't want to leave him out as well. So lots of people, lots of friends there at LeMay America's Car Museum. Krissy, thanks for being so generous today with your time, your expertise, and for sharing your experiences with our listeners. Can't wait to hear you sing this weekend. The national anthem. That's exciting for me. Very, very cool. Until you and I talk again, I'll see you down the road.
Thank you, Mark.
You're welcome. You take care of your cars, but who takes care of your investments? Tune-ups aren't just for engines. Updating your financial plan is important too. Your GPS may take you from A to B, but it won't help you on the road to financial freedom. For that, you need a good co-pilot and a very trusted advisor. Chris Kimball, CFP, is just the man for the job. He'll guide you down that road without driving you crazy. For over 25 years, Chris has helped people just like you and me with their financial planning and investments. With a master's degree in financial services, he is eminently qualified, and he's a car guy too. Learn more at chrisvkimball.com or call 866-ON-A-PLAN. Securities through Money Concepts Capital Corp. Member FINRA SIPC. CK Financial Services is not affiliated with Money Concepts Capital Corp.
Thank you so much for joining us on today's ride here at Cars Yeah. Drive on over to carsyeah.com to find show notes and inspiring automotive fun. Download your free copy of Filler Up, a fun book filled with gorgeous photographs of fuel filler fun, including quotes from more inspiring automotive enthusiasts. Download your copy today, and we'll see you next time on Cars Yeah.